Hey everyone, so I have a pretty exciting video for you today. I am going to be doing a discussion with Lucas on familiars, animal spirit guides, and then animal totems and the difference between all of those. One thing that I wanted to let you guys know before we get on with the video is that these are all of my takes and my personal beliefs, what I've gathered from different people, different books, and my own experiences on the subject. So just clearing that out there, this is what works for me. Everyone is different and everyone learns differently and everyone takes in the information differently. So with that said, let's start. Okay everyone, so this is Lucas.
Hello.
So I want to start off with talking about familiars. What familiars are, why we have them, what kind of brought familiars into magic in the first place.
So the only thing I know about familiars is like Harry Potter. Everyone has their own animals that they have. So
yes. So what familiars are they're an animal that you are connected to on a spiritual level. You guys don't just connect physically, but you also connect emotionally and spiritually.
So familiars animals are always going to be like around you.
Yes, I wouldn't say that you can just, this is coming from my personal point of view. I don't think that you can just buy an animal and that it just automatically, okay, this is my familiar.
Speaking of animals that just like hate you and don't want to be around you.
Exactly. It doesn't matter if you've owned the cat for a really long time or whatnot. It's your physical and spiritual connection with that animal. So it doesn't really matter what animal it is. I mean, I necessarily wouldn't say that you can have like a fish as a familiar. I'm not dissing anyone who has a fish as a familiar. They're animals that are more sensitive to your emotions and your magical workings. They understand you.
How are you going to know when that animal comes about?
You will know. That's my main thing about familiars, is you will know. You will feel that they are connected to you. They will want to be... The best way that I can describe it is that a cat is normally standoffish and doesn't want to be around you. In familiar form, it will come to you, it will sit on you, it will be with you all the time.
So it's kind of like how Perry waits for us at the door when we come home?
A little bit, but on a higher level.
More than that.
Yeah, they're going to be definitely in tune to all of your magic workings. A lot of people have dogs and cats as familiars, those are the two main ones, but you can also have birds, and even reptiles. Snakes are actually very in tune to our psychic energy, and we can really connect with them. So that's a familiar. They're physical animals, they are pets that we connect to on a higher level, whether it be through our spirituality or our physical connections with them. It's a higher level than what a regular pet would be.
Okay.
So that's a familiar. Now, what a totem is a representation of an animal to draw that animal's energy into your life. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so you're not going to actually... A totem's just going to be like a physical object or something to represent that.
Represent that animal's wisdom or power, whatever you want to bring in. So this right here is an owl, so you guys can see it. This would be a totem. A totem is a physical object that represents that animal. So you carry this with you or you have it in your home to draw wisdom in. In the case of an owl, it would draw wisdom. If you were doing a bear, it would draw in strength.
Do certain animals already have that representation set with them, or do you kind of make up your own sort of representation for that?
When you're working with totems, yes, they do have their own representations, but they mean different things to different people. I feel that it's the intention that that animal means to you. So let's say an owl to me represents wisdom, but an owl to another person could represent protection or hunting, anything like that.
So it's like what resonates with you personally.
Yes. I think that totems are just like stones. You draw from their energy, but you also draw from the energy that it represents for you. Totems are based in Native American lore. They use them as protection. They use them to warn other tribes of what they're doing or who they are. I've talked to a couple of my Native American friends, and they've actually opened up a lot of... I just love the idea of totems because you can wear them around with you, you can keep them at your front door. They're kind of like gargoyles. They protect or draw in the energy that you want. So that is a totem. they're pretty awesome. Any questions about them?
Is there any particular place that works better for placing? Like, is it better to wear them as jewelry, or is it better to have them by your bedside, on a dresser, on a shelf?
I think with that, it's all on what feels right for you and what your intention is and what you're trying to achieve, what your goal is. So let's say you want to be more wise. You would wear it as jewelry. Well, when you're out, you would keep it on you. I keep owls everywhere. I think they're awesome. They're all seeing. They see everything. You know, because you live here, but
there's so many owls around.
Yeah, I have owls everywhere because I want to draw
Every
that
room.
wisdom. And I love the fact that they can see things that not everyone else can see. They can get a full view. They can get a full
good vision.
They can get a full perspective of everything. So it really doesn't matter where you place them. It's more or less how they work for you and how they resonate with you.
Now, I think the thing I want to most learn about is spirit animals, because of the one exercise that we did that one night, that's sparked my interest ever since then. Basically, I just want to know how you can draw off of their power, I guess, to draw on their energy when you're going through about your everyday life.
Okay, so first off, I want to explain what a spirit animal is, or what a spirit guide is, or an animal guide is. An animal guide is when we go into our astral plane, or our safe spot is which I like to call it. When I start my meditation or my rituals, I will go into my temple, so to speak, and it's whatever we want it to be. It's a safe place that we've created for ourselves. And there I will usually see or greet my spirit guide, which to me, my spirit guide is a representation of my animalistic form, me in an animal state. Since we are humans, we all have animal nature, and our human bodies don't know how to react to that animal nature. So we see ourselves as an animal.
How is that determined? Is it through your life experiences, or are you already born with that energy in you and you slowly realize it later on?
I think we evolve into those energies. I think it's what's inside of us. I think that
It's kind of already there.
Yeah, personally I have two spirit guides, or two animal guides. I have a fox and then I have a deer. And both of those, well, it's a young male deer, I should put that. It's a buck. So, because it's very specific to what, you see and what you feel. Those two animals resonate with me so much, and the way that they act and the way that they maneuver in nature, I just love it, and I feel like they are very much like me in my personality. So they kind of help me, when I am in my astral form, to understand things that are around me a little bit better. They can read information so much better. Animals are so much more sensitive, so we feed off of our spirit guides or our animal guides when we need to, when our animal instincts are kicking in.
Can we do it without realizing it? Or do we have to actually focus on that animal for us to draw that energy?
I don't think we need to. I think that it's instilled in us because we are representing that animal. That animal is us. That animal is inside of us. A good example is Annie, one of our friends. I feel her animal is definitely a bird. And the reason is because when she gets worked up, she kind of runs around everywhere and she flies around and she throws things around and she gets way worked up. And it reminds me of a bird trapped in a cage, She gets fluttered and she's flapping her wings around and she's crazy. She's like a tornado of energy. So I think that's how we are, and that's how we react in situations. Like I said, it's our animalistic nature. So with our spirit guides, there are ways that we can pinpoint which animal we are, much like the exercise we did that one night, where we go and we meditate, and there's a couple different exercises that you guys can look up online and check out. But yeah, so that's what an animal guide is, or an animal spirit.
Now, I guess what I want to know is if we see our spirit animals in real life, is that going to have sort of a double effect? Like, we see them as a familiar and a spirit guide, or are sometimes just our spirit guides that alone?
Do you mean like if your spirit guide is a cat and you own a cat, is that like a double?
Yeah, like say if my spirit animal is a tiger, and I see a tiger and I don't necessarily feel that connection with it in the physical world. How does that work?
Like, okay, so you're kind of saying like, okay, what if someone's animal is like a frog and they don't like frogs?
Yeah.
Kind of like that. Okay, so that's an interesting question because when I first saw a deer, I didn't really feel that. I didn't resonate with it. And I've never had like a fascination with deer, and I didn't understand why. Like, why is this deer communicating with me? Why am I feeling its energy? And then more and more, I realized that I think that's a different side of me that I was maturing into. Because the way that I see deer, especially like a young deer who is kind of coming into his age, he's very prominent. If you ever see deer, there's like all the does in one area, and then you have the males who are outside watching over, taking charge. And I feel like that's a lot of my energy that I've kind of grown into. I'm not running away from my problems necessarily like a fox would do. Foxes are very sly and sneaky. Mm-hmm. And deer are more like, I'm going to stand up and face my problems. And I think that's what it is. When we see an animal that we necessarily don't connect to in the real world, it's because we haven't fully connected with ourselves in that way yet. And we kind of have to come to terms with why we're seeing that animal.
Yeah, that's where I was confused, because when I figured out my spirit animal was a tiger, I kind of thought back to my previous experiences of actually, maybe like seeing one at a zoo or something and not feeling that connection before. So I'm wondering, I guess, if that connection is going to grow if I become more connected to my spirit animal to animals in the real world.
I think so. I think that a lot of people too, they have premeditated ideas of what their animal should be. Like, oh my god, I love this animal.
Well, yeah, it's exactly because I had always thought tigers were so just like ferocious and mean, but then once I did the exercise, I found out that there's a whole different, I guess, calm and curious side to them. So, yeah.
Well, tigers are big cats, so I think that.
Yeah.
I think that is the thing. What didn't you have another animal?
A beaver.
A beaver. So,
which I've never really encountered beavers in real life, but it was so weird when that happened.
Well, let me break down this really quick. I think that those are explaining two sides of you in a very different way, two polar opposites. Where you have a beaver.
You put a beaver and a tiger in the same room.
well, with beavers, they are so they live their lives making structures that are strong and founded, and you are set, like, in a lot of your ways, you are kind of like to the point, like, this is how it has to be and it can't be any other way, like, on time, on this, and when you fail, you beat yourself up a lot, instead of kind of like looking at what you've built, because a beaver doesn't look at what they've built, they don't take time, they build something and then they start something new once they get bored of what they're building. As with a tiger, they take time, they don't have a structure, the land is their place to live, and they're more free, they're more artistic, they're creative beings, they spark creativity, they're beautiful, they're majestic, and I feel like that's something that you want to bring into your life. You are so structured and so boxed in that you kind of need to let go and evolve into this person who has structure and who is prominent and in charge, but also beautiful and creative and all of those other things that tigers are. So I think that
helped a lot.
well, I think that there's a lot to be learned about animals and their form and our form, but those are three things. I hope that helped. I hope you guys took something from it. When it comes to familiars, totems, or spirit guides, there's so much to be learned, and I recommend going out and picking up a book. There are some amazing books. I can post some in the description below if you want to continue to learn about spirit animals and spirit guides and totems and all the other sorts of things out there. But I want to thank Lucas for his awesome discussion time.
Thanks for having me.
And yeah, so love and light, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
Bye.